me feeling like I'm academics. Can't.
I did speak about the whole Trump thing. Did you see the fucking shooter? They got this fucking weirdo. First of all, the nigga's black. I was so fucking disappointed. Then I started seeing other shooters. Other pictures of the idiot. And they got the nigga wrapped in foil paper like he's a fucking juicy fruit gum. Like he looked like a stick of gum. Bum ass nigga, man. Like you're gonna see like some more pictures of him. His name is Cole Allen. I felt so disappointed because he had my last name. Oh, this is him? This him?
Wheelchair College student Cole Allen developed a prototype for a wheelchair emergency brake.
The wheelchair brakes tend to lock the wheels, but don't actually lock the chair to the ground. The idea...
Potential to...
I still say we should give this nigga death, straight up. By the way, this is an AI-enhanced video of what the fuck he was doing. By the way, also in his manifesto, he writes a scathing letter that criticizes even the Secret Service, saying that, hey, how the fuck did they even let me into this so far? Let me give you the breakdown of what happened. Essentially, they have this White House Correspondents' Dinner at basically a hotel that has a big gallery or ballroom. And it's not at the White House, so it's a third-party type of establishment or building that's not governmental. And remember, if you don't know what the White House Correspondents' Dinner is basically it's turned into this thing where people are able to roast the president. The president's kind of like able to crack jokes, but it's an interaction and a camaraderie building session with the president of the United States with the press. We all do know in the first Constitution Amendment, like basically you have the right of free speech. It's also the right of the press. It's a reason why there's a press secretary. It's a reason why they have briefings at the White House. The government wants to inform the people, and they do it via the press. So they have this once a year thing. It's called the White House Correspondents' Dinner. I didn't know that Trump has never attended. Barack used to be a really regular there. He used to take the jokes, but also kind of give him, because you know Barack is a smooth operator. Apparently Trump was going to this thing for the first time. Again, it's not held at the White House. So they pick like a hotel or whatever that's a big ass ballroom, and they descend on there. So you have the Secret Service, local police, you have, all these ancillary forces that assist Secret Service in making sure the president or any elected officials were going to be there. And it is one of the most dangerous times of the year. I'll tell you why. Because does anyone have Netflix, or maybe you watch Netflix on your girl's account? There's a show called Designated Survivor, right? And in that show, it shows that someone was able to kill almost everybody within the government. And supposedly there's a protocol. Like they were at one place, like they were at one meeting spot, and somebody like blew up a bomb or something, so everyone died. So if everybody in the government dies, what happens? So apparently there's like a protocol within the United States, political scene. Is called Designated Survivor. By the way, as I said, there's a TV show you can watch on Netflix, but supposedly it's what's happened is that there's always someone selected out of the cabinet, and they're always chosen to skip major events. Like, for example, a State of the Union where everybody's in the building. So you have the vice. So the way the chain of command goes this, right? Let's look. Order of succession for U.S. president. So if the president dies, and by the way, this is on the official U.S. government, right? The U.S. Website. So if the president dies, vice president is now the president. If they both die, this person's the president. If all three of them die, it's this person there's somebody called the president pro tempore of the Senate. If they all die, Secretary of State, then the Treasury, then the Defense. And it kind of goes down for a while of who could be the president. Now, what usually happens is that there's usually what's called a designated survivor, and it's a protocol that ensures the continuity of the government in case something happens where all the top leaders are eliminated at once. Now, remember, even the order of succession, if most of them are in the building for many major events. This is a White House Correspondents' Dinner. J.D. Vance is in there. That's the vice president, if you don't know. The FBI director is in there. Kash Patel was in the building. Pete Hegseth, he's in the building. A lot of people are there. Imagine a bomb went off, God forbid. They usually pick somebody to not show up there, right? And I don't think they announce it. Someone just doesn't show up, right? And that person's a designated survivor. So anyway, they pick this hotel, and the Secret Service does his rounds. I would imagine it has multiple perimeters, maybe like they've put like a square radius around a certain amount of blocks. They have all type of checkpoints. They probably have definitely have snipers on the ceiling. They probably have some type of let's say we don't know of this yet in the United States, where maybe somebody could attack with drone technology. Like you see what's happening in like Iran and like Israel and all over like the Middle East. They're now just sending drones to just blow up some shit where their op is at. You know what I mean? And it could be an apartment building, whatever. So that's kind of where a lot of things at. So the Secret Service, that's all their job. So they're making sure this fucking hotel is perfect. Now, this fucking lunatic that eventually is going to get through, by the way, he's pictured here. The place that they're having this event is just a hotel. It's a regular ass motherfucking hotel. Okay? Now they've made it supposedly really secure, but it's a hotel. What does that mean? They're still doing business. Which means that he knew that they were going to be there. He booked a room at the hotel. So he's in the building somehow because he's booked a room. And while booking a room, he gets to kind of move around. They can't be like, hey, what are you doing here? He's like, well, nigga, I'm in the hotel. And he gets the case out. And you got to imagine, let's think about how many people. How many Secret Service agents protect the president? They're saying there's about 300 agents. 300 fucking agents. And this one guy gets to get in the hotel, probably see like, oh, they're not putting checkpoints there. Oh, this stairway is open. Oh, I could do. Which, by the way, just kind of tells you, I hate to call the U.S. Secret Service incompetent to some extent. I really hate to do it. But Jesus Christ. So this guy, one guy, books a hotel at this hotel. First of all, they should have said no more bookings. Once we confirm, no more bookings. Like, we're like trillions of dollars in debt already. We should just pay the fucking hotel to say, keep it empty. Keep it empty. Or get everybody the fuck out of here. But, again, the president moves around quite often. It's unreasonable to have every private business or whatever just like kick out everybody who are their customer base just to deal with him. So they take severe safety precautions, but they can't do some. Or not can't. They don't. So this guy walks around. He brings in his duffel bag, which that's even crazy to me. How do you have an event with the president of the United States in a building, which is also like a hotel? People are bringing in all type of suitcases. How are you not scanning the suitcases? Hey, the president's about to be here. Anyone who's going to stay in the building after, let's say, the 14th, you need to have all of your belongings scanned. How do you not do that? To make sure there's no bombs? Make sure there's no fucking like weapons? So this guy brings his guns in. The guy had a weapon wheel. Guns, knives. Guy came in like strapped. So he got all this in his hotel room on some Vegas shit. Remember the Vegas shooter? Like, nigga got all type of shit up in the spot. The president of the fucking United States and the most important people in the land are in the building. What? Okay. Crazy. So bet all that happens. He peeks out where, like, he could move without people doing a checkpoint. Hey, you can't come here, sir. Badge, Secret Service, you can't come here. He does all that. And he figures out the lay of the land. The nigga fucking straps a shotgun to his leg. He got a knife, like, I don't know if it's a butcher knife or some shit. He got that, and he got like another pistol. My boy is running in on some ghetto Inspector Gadget shit. And then when he realizes, okay, they did secure the perimeter of where, the entrances and the exit is where the president's going to be at, right? Granted, he doesn't have a bomb. But again, I'm concerned that if he did have a bomb, nigga, he could just plant it all around the bitch and blow the shit up. But okay, he now has to get through this checkpoint to get to Trump. And obviously, they claim this guy is like smart. They say this guy, they even have his college pictures. Cole Allen, look. They said, according to him, he was a borderline genius. That's what they claim. They say he was an amazing student. And they said, if you look back at his history, this is him graduating. The guy is a borderline genius. Okay? So, again, I'm not putting too much weight on that because I still think this is dumb in general. But I think people are saying, well, maybe he's like thought of everything, right? I mean, shit, he's thought of everything so far. If you could find a way to blend in or not get put up on some whiteboard or evicted by the Secret Service, he books a hotel there. He seems normal. But now he's at the most integral part. How do you get to the president or the people around the president to do what you want to do? And the only option he felt he had was, there's a security checkpoint here. You can see people here. You can see my mouse. You can see people here, here, here. You can tell this guy kind of sees him because he's looking. And he says, fuck. I'm just going to storm through here. I'm just going to run through the whole checkpoint. Now, granted, this checkpoint, there's not even like a physical barrier that says, okay, we've cleared you, lift the barrier that they could walk. It's just kind of like, they're just standing on opposite sides of a clear lane. And this guy he just starts running. Now, I'm going to keep giving credit to this guy right here because he pulls out the blicky immediately. Right here. He grabs the gun immediately. Right? Everybody's slow to the draw. Look at this guy right here. He's still looking like, what the fuck? Like, he's still looking. All right? So you can tell this got to be local police. This guy got his gun drawn already. And I'm actually surprised. By the way, I think he has something in his hand. I don't know if you guys can see it. I'm surprised this guy doesn't give this guy, just hit him with the, hit him with the Ben 10. Like, yo, point blank range, you know what type of time it is. Okay? You know what I mean? Hit him with a blicky. I'm surprised he doesn't do that, but you notice the lack of awareness from all these people that when we hear about the Secret Service and all these people that are, tasked with protecting the president, let's think back at what I said. 300 personnel, Secret Service agents are tasked with protecting the president. That does not include the other police and other law enforcement that is ancillary that is usually then put on assignment and detail to follow their lead. So at any time when the president's coming through, there's probably like 500 to 1,000 people that is their sole goal is to make sure things like this does not happen. But what do you find out? These three law enforcement guys right here, they're probably thinking about Erica Kirk trying to see if they could fuck her. You know what I mean? Because she's a little bit loosey-goosey, right? This guy right here looked like he probably telling like some dad jokes or something like that. The only guy on point is this guy right here, blicky up. Now, he probably should have gave him a Legos. A nice little Legos, you know what I mean? Like, bow. But he didn't. Or maybe he did. Actually, I think maybe he did. He did, right? He had to. I think he did. He had to. Because this guy flinches. And by the way, this guy's useless. He's watching a guy pull out the gun, aim in like 2 seconds, and he's still standing there looking like he's telling the story. I think he shoots. Then he comes out with his gun. I will say everybody, even this guy, he was like bent over. I don't know what he was doing here. But by the time the guy flew past him, he pulled his gun too. He did. But I ain't see nobody fire no shots though. And then this guy comes out of here, so you can tell there's some detail on the other side of this. Wow, 1, 2. You see another guy, 3, 4. You can tell. So this stairway or whatever this is covered. Okay, anyway. But anyway, it's fucking goof. They've posted mad pictures of him. And the pictures, I think, they look hilarious. He's in like a full paper, nigga. Like, got this nigga looking like a ghetto. It look like a stick of gum, nigga. Look at this fucking idiot, man. Anyway. Suppose he's going to appear in court. He got charged. Let's look at his charges. I don't know if his charges was. Let's look. Okay, he's charged with. Never mind. Yeah, he's cooked. He's charged with the attempted assassination of Trump, and one of the reasons why he's charged people is not only what he did. The fucker left back a note, like he left a note on. He left a manifesto. So Cole Allen Manifesto, and apparently he sent this to his family. He sent this to his family right before he did what he did. And according to him, he wanted to kill everybody up in that room. But he said he was going to pick one Trump official to spare. They said the gunman who tried to storm the White House Correspondents Association, right, planned to spare one Trump appointee, only Kash Patel. Okay? You know, Kash Patel, shout out to my nigga Kash Patel, man. Like, yo, me and Kash Patel, like, I'm trying to set it up. Yo, niggas told me that Kash Patel could go shot for shot with Big Ack, and I'm like, I don't know about that. I don't know about. They say Kash Patel really be throwing it back. Pause. Like he really drink a lot. I'm like, I don't know about that one. If my boy Kash Patel, if he could drink with me, he's a real nigga. He's a real nigga. Okay, he's a real nigga. Cash, I stand with you. Okay. Why they mad at you for drinking midday? They claiming that Kash Patel be drinking during the day and shit like that. I'm like, fuck you expect? It's a tough job. Anyway. Okay, this says Cole Allen sent the sprawling manifesto to his family moments before he exchanged gunfire with Secret Service agents. In the document, he referred to himself as the Cold Force friendly federal assassin and outlined his plan to kill Donald Trump and his top administration officials. So that's one of the reasons he's getting charged. The intent is there. He left a manifesto. Says he wasn't going to kill Patel. And he says these are targets, prioritized from the highest to the lowest. All right. So unclear why he makes an exception for Patel, who faced backlash for appearing to linger aimlessly in the video. After, people were kind of shocked that after this happened, the FBI director is just cooling. Like, he's just like chilling, bro. Like, like this is my boy's chilling, right? Kash Patel probably was trying to look at, like, trying to see if he could bag some other bitches, Like, he a real nigga. Like, he an FBI director and everything, but, like, he hit a cop the hose, man, right? And so they detain the shooter here. Guests enter this way. There's a metal detectors here. And there's stairs leading down from a concourse to the ballroom. And so Trump is here, right? So I would imagine that this way only Trump could get out of. Guest has to come through this way. So this foyer and whatever, like back here, that's for Trump and his officials. But guests enter this way. They have two checkpoints, a checkpoint here, probably a checkpoint there, and maybe even a checkpoint here. We don't know, but we do know there's metal detectors here. There's Secret Service all over the place. And yeah, okay. All right. They asked Trump a ridiculous question. Hey, why do you think people try to kill you, bro? Crazy, huh? Anyway. He went to court. Homeboy went to court. Let's see what happened. Cole Allen. He went to court. I don't know if we have video of him going to court, but let's see.
Brand new details about the shots fired at the White House Correspondents' Dinner in Washington, D.C., and the Southern California teacher charged.
Cole Allen facing several felonies, including an attempted assassination charge. There is a lot to get to this afternoon. Eyewitness News anchor Jory Rand is live near Allen's home in Torrance. Jory has new insight into who the 31-year-old is and what people knew who him are saying about him this afternoon.
But we do begin with our Rob Hayes and the Department of Justice. Rob, there are new questions about the shots fired Saturday night.
Yeah, that's right, Mark. Cole Allen making his first court appearance today. He answered questions from the judge, but he didn't enter a plea. There are also new questions about who fired the shot that struck the Secret Service agent.
Yeah, I'm starting to think that one of the Secret Service shot the other Secret Service. So, like, they missed him and they hit, because you got to realize it's so many people, the guy's in the middle. If you miss him, you probably hit like a friendly fire type of shit. You know what I mean? I don't think this guy pulled out a gun. I think if he pulled out a gun, he'd be Swiss cheese. So I don't think he pulled out a gun.
Inside this Washington, D.C. federal courthouse, the man accused of trying to kill President Trump and members of his administration faced a judge for the first time. Cole Thomas Allen, the 31-year-old Torrance man who opened fire at Saturday night's White House Correspondents' Dinner, was charged today with 3 federal counts, including attempted assassination of the president.
There will be additional charges as this investigation continues to unfold.
Investigators say Allen traveled by train from L.A. to D.C., booked a room at the Washington.
Yo, King Raji, thank you for the 5. It says, I got no respect for any goof that do some dumb shit or get clapped in the same year of GTA 6 drop. It's been 13 years since the last one, and you chose this year to fumble? Oh, yeah, GTA's coming out later this year, chat. So you're saying that if this guy got clapped before the release of GTA, man, fuck him. Okay.
Hilton, where the event was being held, and used a stairwell out of public view to get to the ballroom lobby. Surveillance video shows Allen trying to charge through security outside the event. Prosecutors say Allen was armed with a pump-action shotgun, pistol, and 3 knives. One Secret Service agent was the bullet stopped by his Kevlar vest. Acting U.S. Attorney General Todd Blanche today saying the investigation is still trying to determine whose weapon is responsible for striking the agent.
We do believe that, as the complaint lays out, that the suspect, that the defendant fired it out of his shotgun, and we know that happened. But as far as...
Oh, so they're saying the shotgun got fired. Oh, so maybe he did exchange fire. Damn.
Getting into exacting ballistics, I'm not going to do that today.
This is the 3rd assassination attempt against Trump in the last 2 years. The White House today blaming Democrats for inspiring Allen and calling for an end to what Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt called crazed rhetoric.
When you have mentally disturbed individuals across the country who are listening to this crazed rhetoric about the president.
Okay. Wow. Interesting. All right, Trumpito is good, man. My boy Trumpito is good. I think I did play it, but I think I played it on my gambling stream, so I'm going to play it again. Trump, 60 Minutes. They basically read Trump, the manifesto of homie, saying, like, basically saying the reason why I want to kill these niggas, we got pedophiles, we got rapists, we got all type of evil people up in the government, and I'm finna go assassinate their ass. And Trump goes crazy on the question, the interviewer saying, why would you even read what this crazy nigga is saying? You know what I mean? It's like, wait. So this crazy guy tries to kill me, the president of the United States, and I have to come here and sit here and answer to his craziness?
Yeah.
Did you know that he emailed it to family members?
We found all of that out this morning.
Right before the attack.
Yeah, we found that out this morning, and the family members were concerned. I think the brother called up the police. I think the sister may have.
You think he cooked her? Let's get to it.
The law enforcement.
Here we go.
Read that because I knew you would.
Oh, here we go.
It was a smart, crazy person. I think the law enforcement did a great job last night.
Let me ask you.
I guess if they didn't, I wouldn't be here. But I think they really did a great job. Mm-hmm. Now, can you make adjustments? I mean, we're also learning. Can you make adjustments? I think the only adjustment would be you move your security equipment further away. But it was about 50 yards away. 50 yards is a lot of yards. Now, when a guy's running at that speed, he was a very fast person. And he got him by a little bit by surprise, but that didn't matter because he was totally subdued very shortly after he passed that one point.
The so-called manifesto is a stunning thing to read, Mr. President. He appears to reference a motive in it. He writes this, quote, administration officials, they are targets. And he also wrote this, I am no longer willing to permit a pedophile, rapist, and traitor to coat my hands with his crimes.
Look at Trump's face. Look.
A pedophile, rapist, and traitor to coat my hands with his.
Right when he gives that look, Trump about to get on bad timing.
No longer willing to permit a pedophile, rapist, and traitor to coat my hands with.
Right here. This look is that he's looking off camera, and that you see she's sitting this way, so his eye's not supposed to look at the camera. He's looking off camera, even though it looks like he's looking at the camera, but he's looking off camera to say, "This bitch really tried me, huh? This bitch really tried me, huh? This is the third time niggas done try to kill El Trumpito, and this bitch over here trying me, asking if, yo, you know why he trying to kill you? He trying to kill all the pedophiles and rapists and shit. Maybe you one of them." And Trumpito goes crazy. Here we go.
With his crimes. What's your reaction
Well,
to that?
I was waiting for you to read that because I knew you would, because you're horrible people. Horrible people. Yeah, he did write that. I'm not a rapist. I didn't rape anybody.
Do you think he was referring to you?
Excuse me. I'm not a pedophile. You read that crap from some sick person. I got associated with all stuff that has nothing to do with me. I was totally exonerated. Your friends on the other side of the plate are the ones that were involved with, let's say, Epstein or other things.
Let's say
But I said to myself, you know.
Why is this nigga so funny, bro? Let's say Epstein. Why does he talk like that?
I'll do this interview, and they'll probably. I read the manifesto. You know, he's a sick person, but you should be ashamed of yourself reading that, because I'm not any of those things.
Mr. President,
and I
these
was
are
never.
the
Excuse
gunman's
me.
words.
Shot o'clock, chat. Shot fucking clock. Wake up. Y'all at work yet or not? It's 8 o'clock. We got an hour in so far. Get on up. Get on up. This like power hour coffee shit. I'm gonna make sure y'all good. Y'all gonna be excited after this stream is done. Y'all gonna get the day done.
Excuse me.
Excuse me.
You shouldn't be reading that on 60 Minutes. You're a disgrace. But go ahead.
You're a disgrace. But go ahead. Yo, I like how you be violating.
Excuse me. You shouldn't be reading that on 60 Minutes. You're a disgrace. But go ahead. Let's finish the interview.
The other thing that he wrote in
You're disgraceful.
the other thing in the manifesto that I think is worth looking at in terms of determining his motive is he had been staying at the hotel since Friday. He checked in, he said he had cased the place, and he wrote, "What the hell is the Secret Service doing?"
Facts.
And he wrote this quote, "I expected security cameras at every bend, bugged hotel rooms, armed agents every 10 feet, metal detectors out the wazoo. What I got is nothing." He wrote, like, this level of incompetence is insane. Sir, you have already had two
Well, he was
attempted
pretty incompetent, too, because he got caught. And he got caught pretty easily. So I'd say he was pretty incompetent, too. You know, I could take any event having to do with security or anything else. I can always find fault, no matter what. I can take a baseball team that won the game 18-0 and say they should have played better. Those guys did a good job last night. They did a really good job.
Even though Trump, you know, I am worried about his age a bit. He's 80 now. I do think he makes a very valid point. It's always, if we sit back on a Monday, which yesterday was Monday, and we criticize every little thing, people could always be better, right? Bam Adebayo, well, obviously he could do a lot of shit better because he only shot free throws, right? He scored 83 points. He could have been better, right? Like, we could critique that game and be like, well, he shouldn't have missed this. Damn, he missed this layup. Why didn't he go for this, rebound? He could have got a putback. And you could really, you could criticize everything. I was actually surprised, especially with someone who's now, Trump has to go to sleep thinking, I could die. That has to be a very present thought in his mind, right? Like, more than any other president. Like, people want me dead. And for him to even come out and explain the actions of Secret Service by saying, hey, listen, you're right. It maybe could have been better, but all things considered, it was good enough. And no one got into where I was at, and I was ultimately spared. And he could give credit there rather than just being like, oh, why didn't you guys do this? Why didn't you guys do that? I don't know. Part of it, I've been watching Trump recently. I feel like there's a morbid, when old people get to the point where they've accepted death? Have you talked to any of your parents or grandparents, and they'll talk to you? They're like, yeah, so when I'm not here, and you're talking to them, but you don't want to have that convo with them because you're like, my grandma, I don't want to talk about that. That's stupid. No, let's not talk about that. But they're completely prepared to talk about them not being here because they've already accepted the fact that at a point they're going to die. And a lot of times younger people, we don't accept it because they're like, no, I want my grandma forever. It feels like Trump has accepted that, you know, whether assassination or whether it's, you know, he's just at the end of his lifespan, I feel like he kind of talks in a, yeah, I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, I'm fearful of death. It feels like he's almost saying, yo, if it happens, bro. And I don't know, it's a little odd for me, but he's older. He's 80.
Now, do they make adjustments? They do. They learn. They make adjustments. We're living in a different world with the internet than we had years ago. But even years ago, it was very dangerous. I mean, just ask Honest Abe Lincoln. Pretty dangerous. And but we are living a very, you know, the internet, I think maybe more than anything else, it's radicalized some people. It's made people mentally sick. It's also a great thing. It's a phenomenal thing. We're the leader in it. We're the leader in AI. It's a great thing, but you'll always find problems. But it's a different age. It's a very different time.
I mentioned that because, again, as his motive, and you brought this up, he had social media accounts that had anti-Trump and anti-Christian rhetoric.
You should read. Why don't you read all the anti-Trump? Why don't you read it? You just did, so why don't you read it?
Well, he had a lot of anti-Christian rhetoric.
I wonder why Trump does interviews with people that clearly he doesn't like or he feels they don't like him, because it's always like this tense kind of like back and forth between him and the interviewer. You could tell he don't fuck with this chick.
He was part of a group called the Wide Awakes. He had attended a No Kings protest in California.
No Kings. Yeah.
What did security tell you about what
see,
may have been his motives?
The reason you have people like that is you have people doing no kings. I'm not a king. What I am, if I was a king, I wouldn't be dealing with you. No, I'm not a king. I get it. I don't laugh. I see these no kings, which are funded just like the Southern Law was funded. You saw all that. Southern Law is financing the KKK and lots of other radical, terrible groups. And then they go out and they say, oh, we've got to stop the KKK, and yet they give them hundreds of thousands and even millions of dollars. It's a total scam run by the Democrats.
Okay. All right. Well, it's a lot to uncover there. So the guy is kind of like, he didn't put in a plea, but he showed up in court. They say, here's why he excluded Kash Patel off his target list. Okay. I don't get it. Why? Why? Oh, is it because like Kash Patel is like from India or some shit? Is he from India? They said Kash Patel parents are Indian. Did this guy have a wife? Should we read this bullshit? Let me see. Okay. Oh, wow. Jesus. Okay. We'll read the manifesto real quick. Or I'll try to. This is supposedly his full manifesto. It says, hello, everybody. So I may have given a lot of people a lot of surprise today. Let me start off by apologizing to everyone whose trust I abuse. Apologize to my parents for saying I had an interview without specifying it was for Most Wanted. Oh, the guy got a sense of humor. I apologize to my colleagues and students for saying I had a personal emergency. By the time anyone reads this, I probably most certainly do. So he's talking about whatever. He says I might need to go to the ER, but I can hardly call that a not self-inflicted status. So this guy got jokes. This guy writing jokes like he Dave Chappelle. So I apologize to all the people I travel next to, all the workers that handle my luggage, all the non-targeted people at the hotel I put in danger by just being there. I apologize to everyone who was abused or murdered before this, to all of those who suffered before I was able to attempt this, to all who may still suffer after, regardless of my success or failure. I don't expect forgiveness, but if I could be seen any other way to get this close, I would have taken it. Again, my sincere apologies. On to why I did any of this. I am a citizen of the United States, will represent what my representatives do reflect on me. I am no longer willing to permit a pedophile, a rapist, or a traitor to coat my hand with his crimes. Well, to be honest, I was no longer willing a long time ago, but this is my first real opportunity, and I finally had some chance to do something about it. While I'm discussing this, I'll go over my expected rules of engagement. Probably in a terrible format, but I'm not military, so too bad. Administration officials, not including Mr. Patel. Their targets, prioritized from highest ranking to lowest. Secret Service, their targets only if necessary, and to be incapacitated non-lethally if possible. AKA, I hope they're wearing body armor because center mass with shotguns messes up people who aren't. Ooh, wow. So this guy, he had planned to shoot. Whoa, okay, never mind. Hotel security, they're not targets if at all possible, unless they shoot at me. Capitol Police, well, they're the same as hotel security. National Guard, they're the same as hotel security. Hotel employees, they're not targets at all. Guests, I don't want to kill any guests. In order to minimize casualties, I'll be using buckshot rather than slugs, less penetration through walls. I would also go through most everyone here to get to the targets if it was absolutely necessary, on the basis of most people chose to attend a speech by a pedophile, rapist, and traitor, and thus are complicit. I really hope it doesn't come to that. Now, I do want to stop this, and I know I'm reading through this. Chat, I got to be honest. You remember what, I know y'all going to be like, yo, Ak, there's no way you just pull this parallel. But I got to. This is real. Rhetoric that I believe people who are woke use against people they don't like does encourage this behavior. When you, and remember where, I see everybody now saying, well, nobody, like, why is Drake fans so hurt about, when you label somebody as a pedophile, when you label somebody as some of the most vile things in the world, maybe you won't do nothing because you're a pussy. Maybe you're still down to listen to Iceman. Maybe you're still down to go cover this motherfucker or whatever. But there's somebody that you're speaking to that believes you, that says all pedophiles should die. And they might be infuriated that these people that are being labeled falsely, by the way, as pedophiles, falsely, by the way, as all these really heinous things, they might be like, oh, so nobody gonna do nothing about it? Well, I'm gonna do something about it. Because that's what this is, right? When you label the president of the United States like he's a pedophile, maybe the person saying it all the time on CNN is not going to say, oh, I'm going to go kill President Trump. But there's going to be some lunatic that says, wait, y'all look, because that's what he's saying. And that's why I went on that little tangent. He's saying, if we really think this nigga's a pedophile, why are we listening to this nigga give speeches? And that's where I've said, even about like the Drake thing, I'm like, if you push this idea that he was a pedophile, how do you get onto the thought of, I want to hear Iceman? But most people in that type of arena, they're like, oh, it wasn't that serious. Well, we're now seeing what happens when someone takes it serious, right? So this guy is literally saying the reason why he's doing this, he believes that Donald Trump is a pedophile. And he believes he's a rapist. And he believes he's a traitor. And he believes people around him and in his cabinet and people of power are complicit. And that's one thing I realize, everybody who spews this language, and I think it's a language of hate, when you say or you categorize someone as things that you hope to get them canceled by, you're spreading hate, even if you think they're spreading hate as well. Because you're going to radicalize someone, right? You're going to radicalize someone who says, well, if you really think Drake's a pedophile, why somebody don't kill him? Like, let's be honest. Or it doesn't have to do with Drake. It has to do with anyone you accuse of those things, right? Like, the theater that we live in where you disagree with someone and you call them the most vile things on earth. Oh, that guy's, he's a pedophile. Well, you're just pussy. Somebody else is going to say, well, if my life ain't worth shit right now, if I'm going to go out, I'd rather go out killing the pedophile. Where did I get this idea of this guy's a pedophile? I got it from these people who keep saying it. Without reason, without proof. They're just saying something to dismiss this person because they don't like him. So I do see where the rhetoric has like really trumped up into this. Because I'm going to be honest with you. I really don't think the majority of Americans think that Donald Trump is a pedophile. I don't. It's impossible. Might be a crazy comparison, but it's like thinking that all right, let me bring it back a little bit. If they did think he was a pedophile, who would ever want to be led by a pedophile? So there's a lot of people who I believe accept the rhetoric, but the reason why they don't do anything, or the reason why they're not radicalized, or the reason why they're not chanting on the mountain every day, let's get this pedophile out of power, is because they're like, they're not really gun-ho to the idea of him being a pedophile. It's just a way to tear him down, right? Because if I believe if Jeffrey Epstein, now knowing everything we know, was actually, somehow alive and well, but president, there would be fucking war. There would be at least half of the population that says, I can't listen to nothing this guy says. He's fucking little children. I don't care if he gives us a stimulus check. I don't care what we hate this guy that much. I just don't think that's the thing with Trump. I think people just don't like Trump. Like, he has his ways. People don't like him. And I might be wrong. But I do believe that if you really think a nigga is like a pedophilic and he's controlling your country, I don't think it's that rare that people would do what this guy does. I think majority of people would do what he does. But, obviously 3 is a lot. 3 assassination attempts is a lot, but I would think way more people would be rebelling or trying to get this guy out of power some way, somehow. Anyway, all right. Okay, cool. So basically his whole thing is he's saying that he's down to go through whoever to get to his targets, and his basis is that if you're going to attend a speech by a pedophile and a rapist and a traitor, you're kind of complicit. So now he's like, here's a rebuttal to objection. So he's arguing with himself and anticipating what people would say to object. So objection 1, as a Christian, you should turn the other cheek. His rebuttal is this: turn the other cheek is for when you yourself, is when, what the fuck? He says, turning the other cheek. Where it goes? Sorry. So turning the other cheek is for when you yourself are oppressed. He says, I'm not the person raped in a detention camp. I'm not the fisherman executed without a trial. I'm not a school kid blown up or a child starved or a teenage girl abused by many criminals in this administration. So turning the other cheek is when someone is oppressed. Turning the other cheek is when someone else is oppressed. Not Christian behavior. It's complicitly in the oppressor's crime. Objection 2. Well, this is not convenient time for you to do this type of thing. His rebuttal was, well, I need whoever who thinks it's not the convenient time to take a couple minutes and realize the world isn't about you. Do you think that when I see someone raped or murdered or abused, I should walk on by because it would be inconvenient for those people who aren't the victim? This was the best timing and the best chance of success I could come up with. Objection 3 says, you didn't get them all, which I guess, he's forecasting at this point, thinking he was going to do some damage or kill some people. His rebuttal would be, well, I got to start somewhere. The objection 4 was, as a half black, half white person, you shouldn't be the one doing this. His rebuttal was saying, well, I don't see nobody else picking up the slack. Objection 5 was, yield unto Caesar what is Caesar's. I don't know if you know that there's an infamous thing where it says for Julius Caesar, it says what is for Caesar gives to Caesar. Let me see what's the context. Yeah, render to Caesar the things that are for Caesar. It basically was people should pay taxes, and you had to give what your proper portion was to the government or the monarchy or whatever. Rebuttal is the United States of America is ruled by law, not by one or several people. So the real reason why they're saying this is that what is owed unto Trump in terms of power, in terms of, resources, you got to give it to him because he is the leader of the United States. And his rebuttal is that we're ruled by law, just not by one or several people. In so far as representatives and judges don't follow the law, no one is required to yield them anything so unlawfully ordered. So he's saying that, we're ruled by law, not one person. And also with representatives, which means could be Congress people or judges, he's saying that as far as they not following the law, no one should give them shit. So I would also extend my appreciation to great many people, since I will not be likely able to talk with them again unless the Secret Service is astoundingly incompetent. Says, thank you to my family, both personal and church, for your love over these 31 years. Oh my God. Nah, this is some crazy. When a nigga could write this sentence, you're batshit crazy, bro. You lived 31 fucking years, and the only line for everybody who has changed your diaper, done this for you, all the sacrifices they made for you, is one line. Thank you for my family, both personally and church, for your love over 31 years. Jesus Christ. It's like he doesn't see the worth in, everything he's been. All right, whatever. Thank you to my friends for your companionship over many years. Thank you to my colleagues over many jobs for your positivity and professionalism. Thank you to my students. I think he was a teacher, by the way, for your enthusiasm and love of learning. Thank you to many acquaintances I've met, in person or online, for your short interactions and long-term relationships, for your perspectives and inspiration. Thank you for everything. Sincerely, the cold force, friendly federal assassin, Alan. P.S. Okay, now all the sappy stuff is done. What the hell is Secret Service doing? Sorry, I'm going to have to rant here a bit before I drop the formal tone. Like, I expected security cameras everywhere we've been, bugged hotel rooms, armed secret agents at every 10 feet, metal detectors out the wazoo. What I got? Who knows? Maybe they're pranking me. It's nothing. No damn security, not in transport, not in hotel, not in the event. Like one thing I immediately noticed walking in the hotel is a sense of arrogance. I walk in with multiple weapons and not a single person there considers the possibility that I could be a threat. The security of the event is all outside, focused on the protesters and current arrivals, because no one thought about what happens if someone checks in the day before. Like, this type of incompetence is insane. And I sincerely hope it's corrected by the time this country actually gets competent leadership. Like, if I was an Iranian agent instead of an American citizen, I could have brought in a damn Madus in here, and nobody would have noticed shit. Actually insane. Oh, and if anyone's curious how doing something like this feels, it's awful. I want to throw up. I want to cry for all the things I wanted to do and never will, for all the people who I trusted that this betrays. I experienced rage thinking about everything this administration has done. Can't really recommend it. Stay in schools, kids. Wow. Crazy, huh? Anyway, that nigga, well, he should have died, but, Iceman 16 days, man. Fuck that nigga, man. Iceman 16 days. That's all we need to know. Iceman 16 days, gang. Iceman in 16 days. That's all we know. Iceman 16 days. What's the problem?